What up, YouTube fam? It's your man Logician here, back with some more hot science and true knowledge. What I'm about to talk about, to check out my basic premise, go back to my videos that I did, the video series I did on the reason why women choose thugs and bad boys over nice guys. What I'm going to talk about today is the media's influence on women choosing thugs and bad boys over nice guys, especially black women. And the media has a lot to do with perpetuating the image that, you know, intelligent, more passive and peaceful men are weak and lack virility and lack any type of masculine identity to them. You know, almost like they're not portrayed as feminine so much as they're not masculine. You know, almost like a neutral, sort of a neutral party. Like he's not a male or a female, you know. So, and what I've experienced in my life is, when you watch movies and TV shows and stuff like that, you see a lot of this going on. Now, growing up, there were several images that portrayed this in the TV shows that I watched. There was a show called Family Matters, where there was this guy named Steve Urkel, and this guy was just an ultra nerd. You know, this guy was portrayed as being extremely socially awkward, physically inept. He couldn't stand up straight. He leaned way back. His voice was extremely high pitched. No fashion sense at all. Had extreme physical ailments and challenges like allergies and stuff like that. He was allergic to everything. But at the same time, he was like super smart. He was a genius. Everybody saw Family Matters. But on the flip side of Family Matters, so you had a black guy portraying this element, and he was completely awkward with women, and he could never create any type of attraction with the woman he liked. So they also created an alter ego to him called, his name was Stefan Urkel. Stefan Urkel was a smooth, suave, silver-tongued orator, man. This guy, could talk a woman out of her panties, man, in 30 seconds or less, so to speak. So the girl that Steve Urkel originally liked was all over Steve Urkel. Paid no attention to Steve Urkel. So that's a media image that you got to deal with. So there are all these types of images, I mean, look at Spider-Man in the comic books, Peter Parker, right? He's this super intelligent kid. He's at the top of his class. He's into science. He's got this extremely intelligent, but he's always picked on, and he's always made to look like, he's weaker. And the girl that he likes, he can't get to really be his girlfriend until later on. So these images are portrayed over and over again. And I also want to talk about the uppity Negro. For example, Will Smith played the opposite of Carlton Banks on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Will Smith was a smooth, suave, brother, just like Steve Urkel was. He could get the women. He was cool. He was into the latest fashion. He could play sports. He was, big and strong. He represented the masculine, aggressive type element, and the authentic black man, where Carlton was sort of sellout guy who wanted to be white, but he was extremely intelligent, did extremely well at school. He wanted to go to Princeton like his father. He pronounced and enunciated his words correctly. Like I heard of Will Smith on one of the shows, making fun of Carlton because he pronounced the ing on the end of his sentences. That's supposed to make him seem, you know, white. At the end of the first episode, he had Carlton look in the mirror and say, well, I'm not trying to be white, I'm proud of being black. You know, so Carlton is representing this I call it the uppity Negro. So he's got sort of the nerd in him, where he's socially awkward and can't really attract women. But he's real smart like the nerd, but he also wants to be white and acts white, and or supposedly. And so his proper English and, you know, his dress and his desire to be educated are associated with wanting to be white, even though he's a black man. And this phenomenon goes on, and you know, the series Martin had a bunch of guys like this on, uppity Negroes. And really with the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Will Smith was a young guy. He was just a kid, but Quincy Jones should have known better than portraying that kind of nonsense. So the Jamie Foxx show had an uppity Negro that played the opposite of Jamie Foxx, who was the cool, comedic type cat that could get any woman he wanted, you know, and was always making fun of. All these guys always made fun of the other guy. Will Smith made fun of Carlton, you know, showing that Carlton was weaker and subservient to him, submissive to him. Martin always made fun of the uppity Negroes, and so Jamie Foxx always made fun of Braxton, who was just like Carlton, you know, in the same manner. And so the uppity Negro and the nerd, you know, a lot of young ladies grow up watching this stuff. And if you, like I said, go back to my video series on why women choose thugs and bad boys over nice guys, these images in the media, you know, help to subconsciously perpetuate the type of behavior in women, the ideals in women, that in black women especially, that if you're intelligent and, you know, you generally have, you know, you're generally peaceful, and maybe even called passive, that you're weak, that you're a wuss, that you're corny, that you're a pushover, that you're a punk, that you're a bitch, or whatever, you know. So a lot of these girls end up having these type of subconscious influences placed on their consciousness through the media. And in the black community, it's especially rampant. You have the nerd and the uppity Negro with speaking English, you know, quote, properly, and generally wanting to be, you know, an educated type guy, a stand-up guy with a job, or starting your own business, something like that. And that's portrayed and linked with wanting to be white. So a lot of the young girls and young ladies, you know, the nice guys or the good guys already have to deal with the fact that they think being romantic and being a gentleman is what women respond to, when it's not. They respond to having their emotions stimulated and activated, which is what the thug and the thug and the bad boy does. But the nice guys also have to deal with the fact that they are, for the most part, you know, intelligent group of guys, generally more peaceful, you know. And so this is, you know, so that those tags of being corny and being lame and stuff like that gets tagged on to them too, which is the stuff portrayed in the media. You know, oh, you pronounce the ing on the end of your sentences, so you sound white, right? Just like Will Smith told Carlton. You know, all this kind of stuff. So a lot of your, you know, thugs and problem with thugs and bad boys with a lot of young black women, a part of it is the media imprinting these images on these young girls, and they grow up subconsciously acting this stuff out, you know, especially in the black community. And it's extremely sad, because later on, like I said in the other videos, these guys are the guys that had their act together, you know, when these women are in their 30s and 40s, and, you know, when they're getting older or they have kids, and they're going to want to settle down with these guys, but they'll, you know, a lot of these guys get snatched up because they're good, you know, they're good brothers. Generally how they act together, they got their education, they got their businesses, they got the money, you know, they on point, whereas a thug and a bad boy,